Hello and welcome to another foundational video of how to draw dragons with the Dragon Story. So in this video, I kind of wanted to cover a concept that I've referred to a couple of lines that I called confident lines. Hey, look, that's not very confident, but I have sloppy handwriting. Who cares? I refer to confident lines as a way of, like, drawings look better when your lines are confident. I don't know how else to explain it. So let me try and show you. So when you're drawing, sometimes you see, these amazing swooping lines that have a lot of energy and motion to them. And so that's kind of the start of it. Like, energy is one thing, so if we're just starting to sketch and we're like, oh, I want this really cool dragon, and we're just kind of throwing this stuff down, I mean, it creates a certain energy to try and map this out. But confident lines has to do with what your final line work looks like. So, for example, let's say I'll make my brush a little bit bigger. We want some cool swooping curve thing that has like a nice sense or feeling to it, right? Because it was all with one single gesture. But if you came back and wanted to do something similar, but you wanted to be really careful, you're like, okay, well, let's try that really smaller. And that's not bad, but it sort of lacks some of that energy or the impulsiveness. And so one of the reasons you want to practice your shape so much is to focus on confident lines. And I don't know if this is making sense. Like, I know what it looks like in my head, but let's say you've mapped out your really cool dragon. And I'm being really loose right here. And it's okay when on your rough sketches, let's give this guy like really cool horns or something. Maybe they're like split. Kind of looks like a forest dragon or something. So you have your rough sketch. When you go to make your final line work, if you're all nervous, oops, look, am I on the, let me make a new layer. Okay, if you're really nervous and you get in there and you're like, okay, I gotta get this line perfect. These lines lack something that has, and even that line wasn't perfect. But one quick swoop helps create that. And it's because things in nature form with very distinct patterns and very solid patterns. Obviously, sometimes things are intentionally loose. Like if you're drawing like a clump of dirt, there's not as much elegance to the dirt. But most living creatures have very well thought out patterns and structures. And so that is one reason practicing confident lines will really make your work stand out. And a lot of it just comes from drawing over and over and over again. And I mean, there's plenty of times when I've done drawings and I don't get the lines confident like I want. But that's why it just requires constant practice. Oh yeah, and that's something, so here I did those scales really quick. That's okay. But if I go in there and give it the right detail, that helps. And so that's the difference. And so everything layers on top of one another, you know, because your confident lines won't save it if you don't have the right shape and form underneath. So like all of it is super important. But like if we're drawing back scales, that's okay. That's okay. That wasn't that bad. You want to focus on your line work, and each line stroke is confident. Oops, my eraser was huge. So you can see how I just fixed that line, because I think that second line that I did was way better. And we look at this, okay, that's kind of got this weird bumpy thing to it, and it's okay. I mean, creatures will have different bumps and textures, but you don't want it to make it, you don't want it to feel like it's just because you've made a mistake. And so working on confident lines makes a huge difference in your final art. And that is why we practice drawing shapes. So if you go back and watch the shape video, because the shape video helps. See, and that line's okay, but it's a little wobbly. See, and like I like the way that's flowing, but I don't like how that connected. So I come in here and erase it. And so it is possible to still have confident lines that you draw slow. A lot of times those quick swooping lines really help, but it all comes down to how much you practice drawing those lines. Because then it seems it's clear that everything's intentional. And then I could just like keep going and finish this drawing. But message me or let me know if I need to explain this more. Confident lines is critical to making your artwork really stand out. That's the difference between like, you know, hobbyists and professional. Like you can see the difference when people really understand and they've drawn enough that their lines remain confident. And so that is one thing that you can always keep in mind when you're drawing, is that your line work is important at every stage. And that even though you may have mapped out a base layer that has a good shape to it, even the layer above, that line work needs to be even more confident in your line work. You need to know exactly what you're doing. And that's what really makes your drawings stand out. So thanks for watching. It's been really fun going through some of these foundational things. I'll be continually looking for other foundational principles to cover. So yeah, be sure to check those out. Thanks again.